Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everybody. My name is Harlequin Murray, and I want to welcome you to our team Zoom. This is Ellen Winn's team, and we also have other people that join us that, you're always welcome to join us. But anyways, it is my honor and privilege to welcome everybody, especially those people who are here for the first time. We love having you join us, and we're excited that you joined our team. But I have the honor of introducing Miss Ellen Winn. She is our team leader. She is my personal enroller, and a personal friend of mine for many years. But to give you a little bit of her background for those of you who are new, she grew up in a town called Dallas, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, on a family farm with all the chickens and cows and all horses and all those fun things. But anyways, when she got out of school, she went into the restaurant industry, worked her way up. She ended up was with Domino's Pizza, and she was a regional manager as well as a training manager for them. So she's got a lot of training experience. And after a few years of doing that, she decided to start her own pizza restaurant and had a couple of locations and was highly successful with that, but decided that the business owned her and not the other way around, and decided to get out of that industry. But she has been a business owner ever since she started that. She was introduced to network marketing over 20 years ago, I think about that long. And forgive me if I have the date wrong, Ellen, but that is how I met her. She had started working for a company, and she was actually the national training director for that network marketing company whenever I joined her. So she's got a ton of experience training people, building teams. She's had thousands of people on her team, and has just been super successful. But I've known Ellen for, gosh, I think it's almost about 15 years ago now, something like that. But anyways, without further ado, Ellen is our senior team leader here. She is at the area director level in the DAC comp plan. And without further ado, Miss Ellen Winn, you want to take it away for me before I make any other mistakes?
Hey, Harlequin, thank you. No, great job. And I know we all got off on a crazy start here trying to figure out audio. I'm on a different computer tonight, and last week my computer went down in the middle of Zoom. I have a new computer ordered. It won't be here till Thursday, so I'm on a laptop right now, just making sure that my computer doesn't crash in the middle of the Zoom. So had a little bit of a challenge trying to get the camera and the audio both working on this device because it's a different login process. But super excited that you guys are here. Thank you, Harlequin, for that warm introduction. And yeah, it's been a while since we've known each other for sure. But that's one of the beautiful things about this industry is that we get to make new friends and meet new people across the country and create long-term relationships. Harlequin alluded to the fact that when I was in the restaurant business, my business owned me rather than me owning the business. That's very much how I felt. And that's one of the things I love about the direct selling and network marketing industry, especially the David Allen Capital business, because a lot of network marketing and direct selling companies are going on weekends, and that's their primary time to be recruiting, and a lot of stuff going on at night. But because DAC is primarily B2B focused, now that's changing somewhat as we add some consumer services, but still our core platform is business to business services. That means that the majority of our business is done Monday through Friday, kind of typical business hours. So it gives us different freedoms on the weekends than a lot of other direct selling companies do. So super excited you guys are here. If this is your first time, welcome. We're excited that you're a part of David Allen Capital, and I'm telling you, you could not be joining DAC at a better time than right now. It is so exciting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight after listening to today's leadership Zoom and David talking about some of the things that we'll be covering tomorrow. But let me get in real quick. I want to do what I always do, which is start off with a slideshow recognizing our top performers. Let me get that screen open and share my screen. If I can make that work. Let me go back over, figure that one out. Okay, we're going to do share entire screen. And Harlequin, can you see my DAC to the rescue slide? I can't see you.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so DAC to the rescue, we've all got that superhero DAC uniform on underneath it all, right? It depends on whether we decide to expose that superhero inside or not. And I'm hoping that for your showing up on these Zooms over and over again and plugging into what's going on, that if you haven't already started with that superhero exposure, that you're getting just a little step closer each time you plug into one of our Zooms. So I want to go through what we start off with every week, and that is our top recruiters. This is the leaderboard from January the 30th to February the 5th, yesterday. In first place, congratulations, Joshua. He was on the leaderboard with some crazy numbers last week. He's on the leaderboard again this week with 14 new agent recruits. I came in second place with 4 agent recruits. Tied for third place between Jessica Saxton and Nicholas Cranstown with 3 new agent recruits. And then in fourth place, we had Paul Williams with 2 new agent recruits. All in all, we had 20 people last week who had at least 1 new recruit for a total of 42 new agents joining the team. And with that, you know, whether your name's on the leaderboard or not, it's just a matter of time, as long as you're having conversations and sharing the DAC opportunity. Also, noteworthy to say that you had to have at least 2 recruits to have your name listed on the top recruiter board there. Looking forward to seeing your name on there as we grow and expand our business. And let's move on to some important stuff. Tomorrow night is the first Tuesday of the month, and every first Tuesday we do 2 Zooms. The first one starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. This is where we're going to have a business opportunity overview where David Rutz, our company founder and president, is going to take us through the DAC opportunity, from who DAC is, why we got started, the services that we're marketing, and the compensation, so that someone that's potentially interested in being an agent with us can see a new and updated presentation. If you invite guests tomorrow night to attend live, then they'll be able to ask questions, maybe not at the end of that, but as we roll on over into the training at 9 p.m., they'll be able to talk one-on-one with the founder of our company. Also, hopefully we'll have a smooth presentation tomorrow night, because that presentation will probably replace the one that is currently on our partner page. So we have a more updated presentation. So the more of us that are on there and the more guests that we bring on, we bring more energy to the presentation, so that David is excited and is delivering the best presentation ever. So want to make sure that you know about that. Come on out. That's at daczoom.com Eastern time. All times that we post events, unless otherwise specified, are going to be Eastern time. Our home office, where corporate is in Michigan, which is on the East Coast. We have our funding office with the Bank Breezy team out of Greenville, South Carolina. I'm based just outside of Atlanta, so is Harlequin. So we're all on Eastern time when we're talking about meetings and so on. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we're really going to be setting a new standard with DAC and what is about to launch. David talked about it today on the leadership Zoom, where we're launching the Relevate product, corporate Relevate, where we'll be able to take this product to market with big companies that have lots and lots of employees. We're looking in that 200 plus employee niche, and we'll talk about that in just a minute and get you thinking about who it is that you know, okay? But that's the announcement that I wanted to make. Make sure that you're planning on attending, and again, invite guests for the 8 p.m. business opportunity overview. All right, that 9 p.m. training is really for someone that's already seen the business opportunity overview and is wanting to see what we're having to launch. But if you got somebody hanging on the edge and they're not sure about joining the business or not, tomorrow night's 9 o'clock training and the product that we're launching. If they haven't already decided to join us because of the business opportunity that we currently have, when they see the Relevate launch tomorrow, it's going to be absolutely hard to say no. Next thing I want to cover real quick is all of our websites are working. Last week, we talked about some little nuances that you needed to be aware of, making sure that if you've got old links floating around out there where you've posted stuff on social media or URL directs that had extra characters in it, you want to make sure those are cleaned up because our website is working. All of the referral links are working and all of the page replication is working. One thing you always have to know is once you enter your page with the agent ID number at the end and you hit enter, the page loads, your information goes away as far as what's in the web browser. It is there on the page because the browser has dropped, the page has dropped cookies on the browser. But if you want to go in and say you want to share the self-employed or the equipment financing page, all you need to do is click on that tab of your site. And then at the end, make sure there's a / your ID number or / your independent agent URL. Okay. Either of those will work and then you can share away. All right. That's all the slides that I have. So I'm going to take this off of screen share mode. And actually, nope, I take that back. I want to go over and talk about our back office. Okay. For those of you that haven't been to the back office yet, you simply go to davidallencapital.com and scroll to the bottom of the page. At the footer of the davidallencapital.com website, you'll see a link to agent login, and that's where I've gone here. This is a demo site that I set up 2 years ago or so, so there's no information in here, and I can click around without any privacy concerns or any of that. But I want to show you a couple of things in the back office that we keep talking about. David keeps bringing this to attention. I want to make sure you guys are all aware of it. So when you log in, I love this new dashboard where it shows you how many personally enrolled agents you have, how many total agents you have in your whole organization, and it'll start showing us what our retail sales volume is, commissions, etc. They haven't loaded those reports yet, but those will be in there. This is also a great place for you to see updates, what's new, right? What's new, what's coming. And if you can't remember what time and when things are outside of my team meeting, because we're an independent part of David Allen Capital, right? So our team meetings are not listed in your back office, but everything else that the company does as a whole is listed here under corporate upcoming events, right? So this is kind of your information board. Your that purchase products is not live right now. We don't have any products you can go in and purchase. Order information is not live. Under my team, this is where you can, if you don't know who you signed up with in the business, you can click on my enroller. And I happen to be my own enroller here. Let me make sure I got the right page coming up. I've been logged out for a minute. And I click on my team, my enroller, and it shows that I am my own sponsor. I told you this is a demo site that corporate told me to that I could set up so that I could do trainings and so on. So that's where you see who you signed up through. If you don't know who that is, you got different views of your group. You've got my list view. One thing I'll point out here is you can go in and you can do a start date and an end date. So if you want to pull a report, if you're building a team, you can look for people by the start dates. You can narrow it down to 1 or 2 days. Also here, if you have a large organization growing and you have more than 7 generations deep in your organization there, it says enter 0 for all levels. So you just enter 0 and it will pull up everyone. We don't have ranks or any of that showing right now, so you can't really separate out with that. Here's one thing I also want to point out, and that is under business. David referenced today that you can look at your personal site stats and see how many times your page has been hit. This is a page I never mark it, so it says 0 on all of these. But that's one of the nice things about this. You can kind of track how much visibility you have out there. Also under marketing, you can have your change site name. And this is where you can go in, instead of it just being an agent ID, you can do create a site name. All right. And when you submit, now that site name is interchangeable. So I could use what I just created, Georgia Girl, or the agent ID number that I was assigned. So davidallencapital.com/ the site name. I can go in and change it to anything else. But be careful using this site name change. Once you change it and you start posting your link out there using the site name that you create here, if you change that site name down the road, then those links that you posted with the previous site name that you created and decided to change later, those other links won't be working if you change that site name. So just use that with caution as far as marketing. Now you can change the site name all you want. You don't have to worry about it not working as long as you're leading with your agent ID number. So think about that as you're looking at it. A couple other things I want to point out, and then we'll get over to questions. That is, there's a link here, a direct link over to the Agent Resource Center. I'm going to take you through that in just a second. But I really want to point out the Stay Connected feature here in the back office. This is where we need to start reaching out to support. So rather than opening up an email and sending a message to support@davidallencapital.com, if you'll click on the Connect with Us, it'll automatically come from your email that is on the DAC account. You can type in your question. When it gets sent into the support team, it's automatically going to flag who you are. It's going to be attached to you and your agent ID number. And it really is going to streamline the communication process between your questions and your support tickets versus to the support team. And it'll also create a thread. Unlike if you're just emailing in questions, you know, a lot of times I'll have somebody email me a question, and then 2 days later, they'll send me another email that's pertaining to the first email that they sent me 2 days ago, and the comments are not interrelated. So I have to go back and find the message that they sent me 2 days ago by doing a search through their email. And it's really kind of a convoluted process there when you're just going emails to emails. So please start using the support ticket Stay Connected feature here. Those emails will go straight in to the support team, but it'll make it much easier for them to track who you are and be able to answer your question more efficiently without having to say, can you please send us your ID number? Because they'll have all of that information automatically. Then you've got terms and conditions. This is your terms and conditions for the independent agent, if you want to look at that, if you haven't read that already. The refer a friend, this is sending out the opportunity to become an agent, where you can add someone here, their email address, and then it's going to send them an invite to go take a look at the agent opportunity. And I said I was going to go to the Agent Resource Center. So let's go do that. This is where I want to take you through a couple of things that are really pertinent to where we are in this time in our business. And that is, I want you to go over here to, let's see, to the more, actually, let's see, they've moved it. I may have a hard time finding it here for just a minute. Harlequin, do you know which tab the Super Saturday is on? Maybe it's on here. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, I'm under the business funding section, and this has been rearranged since we added consumer, or the asset-backed funding, the Canada, and the equipment financing. When they added those 3 product lines, they rearranged the back office, creating tabs for each one. So that's why it took me a minute to find this. But under the Super Saturday workbook, I want to point out something here and take you through it and how to use it tonight to really take advantage of the timing that we have in our business. I'm going to go back here around page 40. Here we go, 50. Page 50, okay? Page 50 in the Super Saturday workbook under the funding section of the Agent Resource Center. And this is a memory jogger. How do you use this memory jogger? Well, this memory jogger can be used in many different ways. Okay. It's really a list builder is how we've always used them. And I challenge you to go through and do this exercise and just take out several pieces of paper and just do a brain dump, as I call it, where you go through and you read each one of these. There's 100 different points on here. Okay. You read each one and you go, who's dissatisfied with their job? And just think for a minute. Think about who you've had a conversation with, who you've seen a post on social media that's dissatisfied with their job, and write those names down. Okay. Go to number 2, who is unhappy with their income, right? And just write down those names. Go through each and every one of these and make a list of people that come to mind. All right. Now, normally when we say go through and do a memory jogger exercise, you're creating a list of who you want to reach out to about the business opportunity. Well, that's going to be partial to what you're doing here. One thing you want to do is make sure that you're not prejudging the names that you're putting on a piece of paper, because those names are for your benefit only. Okay. You're not going to be asked to hand that list over to anybody. I just want you to really just go and think of everybody that you can think of that fits under each one of these different categories, right? Because in that process, this mental memory jogger exercise is going to bring people to mind that you haven't thought of in years. Okay. And in that, as you're doing the memory jogger exercise, you're going to come up with people's names that you're automatically going to sort them into, okay, man, he would be a great business partner. He knows a ton of CPAs. This one would be, this one's already in the funding business. He might want to add on David Allen Capital Funding, or this person works in corporate America. They might be a great door opener to get us in the door with Relevate or the employee retention credit. Okay. So the point is, go through and just write down everybody that you can possibly think of. And as you're going through, you may have another little list over here to the side. As you're writing them down, make that secondary list and take them from list 1 and take them over here to list 2 and write down who your key players might be if you were doing team building, or if you might take that off screen, if you are looking for a door opener to help you get into companies and so on. Okay. So that's really what I wanted to point out tonight out of the Agent Resource Center. This is a great tool for you. Also in the Agent Resource Center, one of the most overlooked tools back there in the back office is right here, the funding reference guides. This quick reference guide takes you through, excuse me, every funding platform that we have. This first sheet was updated. They changed it. They had the dates on there, and that was kind of confusing people. So every product that we offer on the funding side is listed on that quick reference guide. Okay. So I'm going to go out of screen share here, go back face to face, and open up for any questions that you guys might have. I didn't start recording, or did I? Yes, I did. I hit recording. Okay, and this is asking me to do a new share instead of stop share. That's odd. Like I said, this is different on this computer for me. Are you still seeing my screen, Harlequin?
Nope, you got it.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, we'll close those out. You guys look marvelous. Those of you on camera here. I hope next week my whole setup is going to be totally different with a new computer, new webcam, and all new stuff in my office. It's going to be fun. So today, two things that David talked about, huge announcements, the Relevate product coming out tomorrow. And again, that's going to be for companies that have 200 plus employees as the big target market for us, but they'll go into more details tomorrow night, and that'll be a breakdown of the training on that particular product. The other big announcement today was the best offer guaranteed on all of our funding. Okay, that's going to be huge, because so many times we have someone that comes in, applies for funding with us, and the next day they're getting bombarded with calls from other lenders because the credit bureaus are selling trigger leads. And those trigger lead companies are calling our clients after they see their FICO was pulled with David Allen Capital. They're calling our clients and saying, hey, I've got your file right here in front of me, and we've got this offer for you. We've had clients that have actually taken offers from other lenders thinking that it was us, or they think that other lender has a better offer. So we've got to be great communicators with our funding applicants and let them know, hey, nobody out there in the marketplace is going to beat our offer. If you have someone else that has made an offer to you, as long as you haven't signed the contract with them, all you need to do is show us that contract, and we guarantee you we will meet or beat that offer, or we'll give you $500. Now, they have to meet some minimum requirements. They have to be doing at least $20,000 a month, been in business at least a year, have at least a 500 FICO score, and a few other things. I don't remember. I'm just going off the top of my head there, Harlequin. But again, David will cover those details tomorrow, because our training will be twofold with Relevate and talking about the meet or beat guarantee with our new funding offers. So at this time, I want to open up for any questions that may be there in the chat, or anybody raise your hand if you've got a question and want to come on and ask it live rather than through chat. We've got a lot of good things going on. We've got people getting funded. Brian Winston, I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight, Brian?
Hey, doing good. Thank you for everything. Real quick question. I really appreciate you sharing the ability to change the site name. So I tested that out. I just did a little quick thing on my site, and it worked fine when I typed it in. But just to verify, because I'm not sure, I may have some legacy materials with my ID. That'll be fine still. If somebody does that, okay, cool.
Yes, so it'll work either way. You can use your agent ID number or the site name that you create. Okay. Either one of them works.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks for the question. I'm sure many others were thinking the same thing. That's the beauty of Q&A here, is somebody will ask a question and somebody else is going, I need to ask this and clarify, and someone else in the group goes ahead and asks that question anyway. So, all right. Anybody else with questions? We can make it an early night. We got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. Harlequin, are there any messages or questions in the chat that we need to address?
The only question that was there was from Joseph, wanting to know what the comp plan is on Relevate, but we don't know that yet.
Yeah, we don't. That'll all be divulged tomorrow as well. David has the comp plan all figured out. He just doesn't have it all in paper format yet. So that will be coming. We've got Amanda. Well, I saw a hand up there for a minute and then he went away.
Yeah, I had it up for a minute. I was going to ask a question, but I thought it probably was irrelevant. I was wondering, are we going to be able to use the Relevate any day, pay any day card, you know?
Personally, as a DAC agent?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, because we're not on a payroll, right? So we don't have an anticipated income coming in other than the daily commissions that we get. We get paid the day after David Allen Capital gets paid. So and no commission is earned until it's been paid out by the lender. And you know, all of our lenders pay us next day, with the exception of Giggle. They don't pay until that client that's been funded through them has made their first payment. So somebody gets funded with Giggle, depending on what day of the week that is, it may be 5 or 6 days before they actually have their first payment drafted out of their account. And then after they've made that first payment, then Giggle will pay DAC 2 weeks later. So I don't see that happening. The only exception, and well, I shouldn't say never or not, because we don't know what products David will be delivering down the road, and there might be some big commissions that are coming our way and they might do a partial pay on it, but we're already using Relevate now, and that's that getting paid daily on it. So good question though. I like you thinking outside the box. That's where innovation comes in, right? All right. Hey, Bobby Knight, I see you've got your hand up. What do you have for us tonight, Bobby? Can you unmute? Let's try that again.
Can
There
you
you
hear me,
are.
Ellen?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay. Ellen, are we gonna be paid like on our first two reps, agents that come in or anything like that? Or is that still gonna be in effect or not?
Yeah, it is. And that question came up the other day. So your first two agents, whenever they were enrolled, you're going to be eligible, even if you're outside of the 60-day window. As a new agent, when we come in, our first 60 days in the business, we're automatically engaged, meaning we're eligible to earn overrides on people that we enrolled and our team and anything that our team produces, as long as we are qualified in the compensation plan. But what Bobby is referring to is what we had launched last year at the end of the year, from May, I believe, through the end of the year. David said, okay, anybody that you recruit, the first two fundings that they get, no matter when those two fundings happen, you're going to get paid on them, whether you're engaged according to the compensation plan or not. So that's what David said the other day, that yes, right now, he says everybody started at the same time, kind of when we moved the old system over to the new, the start dates got changed in our system. So everybody started. He can't go back to determine when they started. So those first two fundings, he's been paying it out anyway. Now that could change. And if it does change, then he'll update that in the compensation plan. But I believe that's going to be something that he builds into it on a permanent basis. That's just my opinion. Again, it could change tomorrow, but I believe that that's the direction that he's headed in. So yeah, thank you for that question, Bobby. Tomorrow's going to be exciting. All right. Anybody else? Joshua, I see you there, our #1 recruiter, 2 weeks in a row. What are you doing? There you go.
Well, there we go. How are you all doing today?
Excellent. Good to see you, and good to see the numbers that you're putting on the board. I know, we're still in that place where we can't see what's going on with the team yet because the reporting's not there in the back office. But I got an email this morning from one of my agents. She's probably on here tonight, kind of giving me an update on some things that she's been working on in the background. And I'm going, oh my gosh, have no clue. So I feel like DAC is like, what we're seeing right now is like that massive iceberg floating in the ocean, and all you can see is just the tip of the ice protruding from the ocean, but underneath it there is this big massive force underneath, right? And I believe that's what's happening right now with DAC from what we can see and what is building up underneath the surface. So have you got a question tonight or just a comment? It's good to see you on screen as always.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you just mentioned me, so I figured I'd hop on here just to say hello, and I hope y'all are doing well. I'm a little jet lagged today. I've had so much going on this week with just being busy with business and stuff. And most weeks I spend 6 or 7 days a week just working because that's what I like to do. But it definitely has exhausted me, and you're absolutely right. It is just the very tip of an iceberg, and a lot of people, they don't understand because they've never been in business for themselves before. But I feel so strongly about DAC because they're constantly evolving, and we're constantly adding new products, and we're finding new ways to offer more services to more groups of people, not just business owners now, but we're starting to get into that consumer side. And there's never been a more exciting time to be a part of a growing company, except when they're growing and they care so much about their agents. So it's a big blessing, but definitely people have to be willing to push hard and to dig in the trenches. And a lot of people join on an opportunity or something like that because they think it's just going to be done for them. But nothing in life or your own business journey, even if you wasn't a part of DAC or another organization, is done for you. You have to go dig and learn and fail and learn and fail and learn. And then you come out on top from the benefit of learning from those failures. But here at DAC, a lot of the hard things are done for you. So as long as you're willing to hit the streets and you're willing to pick up a phone and market online, try running ads, whatever it is that you think will make you successful, I definitely feel you would be successful because every time I focus my efforts in one direction, it's proved to be fruitful so far. And this week is a different direction I'm going to point my arrow in, as David was referring to the other week, just to see what turns up as a result of it. And I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fruitful as well. But people have to be willing to commit to at least doing the trainings. And I think that's the only bit of kind of funniness I've dealt with this week is I'll have agents and they'll be like, I've done the trainings, what do I do now? So as I told you on the phone earlier this week, I reach out by phone, I call them. It might be a lot of people. I spent a day this week on the phone with agents just because it's important to do. And I spoke to one and I said, well, how was your training? Oh, it was great. I got through it all in one day. Well, that's fantastic. And she was like, well, what do I do now? And I'm like, okay, well, I would go rewatch the because you would know kind of, but here's what I'm going to do and what I would do if I was you. And she was like, well, what's an ERC? And I was like, well, how about, when you get off the phone with me, just go through the trainings and then call me back after the fact. And but it's so tough. Don't short yourself. We have training that people would pay thousands of dollars for. We have a mentorship with senior leaders, and David, you can ask him any question you want. And people would pay thousands of dollars to have that kind of mentorship with successful people. Utilize what we have in front of us and do the best we can, because it doesn't just make us successful, but it gives us the ability to make other people successful as well and give them a way out of the rat race, as I say in my personal life. Reclaim their life and get away from slaving for corporations that get rich off the hard-earned time that you spent and traded that you never get back for dollars. But yeah, that's all I have to say, I reckon.
I love it. That's a great message, Joshua. Thank you for sharing that. And you exude that every day. Every time I see you speak on one of the corporate Zooms asking a question, or when you've spoken on our team Zoom here, I can tell that you really love working. As you said, you work 6 or 7 days a week. I do too, for the most part. Even if I'm taking the day off, I can't take a day off without checking to see what's going on with my business, what's going on. Do I have new agents? Do I need to send an email out to them? By the way, I have worked around the email, so now I'm able to add everybody to the email. But there for a little while, I had sent out, Joshua was asking, or I asked him, I said, hey, you got all these people coming in. I can't find their email address, so I can't add them to my team stuff, but I'm able to do that. And I'll tell you how to do it. If you've got people in your team and you don't know how to reach out to them, all you need is their agent ID number. Then go to davidallencapital.com/ that new agent ID number. When you hit enter, it loads their information so you can see their name, their email, and their phone number. So
You are so slick, because a lot of these times you send out a text or something, I think this way too. I'm just on a level like 5 levels below the way you think, and I don't know how you come up with some of this stuff, but it's profound and I appreciate it.
yeah,
Very.
absolutely. Thank you. And same thing for their sponsor. If you're trying to figure out, if you're like me, you have a spreadsheet and I've got a list of who everyone's enroller is. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do the top recruiter list each week, right? But I'm having to do that manual workaround on that right now. So those new people, I'm taking their enroller's ID, having hit it on the website and going, oh yeah, here's another one from Joshua. Here's another one from Joshua. I should just about have your agent ID number memorized because I see it so often in the recruiting list there. But thank you for your input tonight, Joshua. We appreciate you. And if you will stick with this and stay the course with DAC, I believe you're just going to have massive success and make more money with this opportunity than you probably ever even imagined possible. And I know you think big and I know you dream big, but I think DAC is going to deliver far more than you ever could have imagined. So thank you for your comments.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet. All right, Eric Brooks, I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Hey, Ellen, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Hey, I just had a quick question. I was on the leadership Zoom earlier today, and when Dave was actually speaking about trying to recruit other network marketing companies to see if we could market our services to them,
right?
I actually have, I was just wanted to ask you what, well, how would you feel would be the best way to approach that? Because I have a college buddy of mine who's actually in ACN, and he's not the CEO, of course, but he's really high up there. He's one of the high ups. He's like one of the senior vice presidents in there. So I actually had a conversation with him earlier today, and he was just like, well, yeah, just CC me on the email or whatever. And I was just saying, like, if I can actually, kind of segue that in, or should I just like actually kind of fall back away from that?
Well, I love how you think, because you're really thinking big, Eric. But if I were you, I would just send an email to David Rutz, because David is actually related to the founders at ACN, and that's one of the first companies that he was involved with. So I know he has connections over there. He has bounced ideas off of them in the past, and he actually made a comment on one of our Zooms lately about ACN's model and how they charge a $500 fee to get started, and they market a lot of similar products that we do, but they charge this fee for the agents to get started, and they have to pay this over and over, right? And he said, well, I love you, buddies, but we're coming after you. So if you didn't hear that with David, he's got that relationship. But I would just send a message, Eric, just say, hey, have you already talked to the guys at ACN about potentially being a Bank Breezy partner? And David may say, no, I haven't, because we don't want them to have our full line of stuff. I don't know what his thought is on that, but you're certainly welcome to ask. But you brought up a good question. A couple of weeks ago, David mentioned on a Zoom that I had connected with a big network marketing company. And I'll share with you guys how I did that, right? And it's kind of like what I shared tonight about going through that memory jogger and writing, just doing a dump of who comes to mind when you think of each one of those questions on the memory jogger. And I promise you today, just listening to the Zooms and the announcements and listening to David tell stories about some of the companies that have already come on board with Relevate in the states, and then he mentions municipalities and county governments and all that. I had my yellow notepad out, driving with one hand and writing as I was going down the road, because people came to mind as I was listening, right? And that's what a memory jogger is all about. But that came to mind to bring up the introducing another network marketing company. When we started talking about being able to bring on other MLMs, this particular company came to mind, and I've got a good friend that's affiliated with that company. And I reached out to my friend and I said, hey, I'm wanting to go in this direction. What will be my best avenue to get in front of the right people? And would it be this person or would it be this person? Because I know several people at the top of that company. So by brainstorming and talking with my friend, we made that appointment happen. And I went in on a face-to-face meeting with them to kind of get the door open. And then when I got in there and started talking to them, they were asking me questions. I already had David and Wade both queued up to be on a three-way call if necessary. And when, the conversation was going great when I was talking to them, and I said, I can get those questions answered directly from our president and founder of both companies. If you're open to talking with them, they should be available for us if I can get them on the phone. Is that okay? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So I dialed them up. David answered, and I said, can you three-way Wade in? He three-wayed Wade in, and I had them on speakerphone. I connected, and I said, okay, guys, are you there? Confirmed it, put the phone down in front of the company president that I was presenting to, and they all started talking with me in the room there in the middle of a live conversation. So again, it's just making that list of who do you know. And if you don't do that memory jogger and just total blow out everybody that you can possibly think of, there's going to be somebody out there that could lead you to a 500 plus employee Relevate account. There's going to be somebody out there that could lead you to a 300 person employee retention credit account. But you're probably just totally overlooking those connections right now because you haven't sat down and made a full list of everybody that you can think of. And remember, every one of our services, we're not trying to sell anybody on anything. Relevate is going to be free to the business owner, free to the employees, other than that $2.99 transaction if they're taking it in advance. So it is a benefit, a value add to that company when we offer that to them. It's a value add when we talk about the employee retention credit, being able to put money back in that business owner's pocket that they've already paid in. And this is money that is there waiting, available for them to raise their hand and say, hey, I believe we qualify, and sending in the paperwork, right? So everything we do, we're making that business owner's business better by opening our mouth and sharing what it is that we have to offer. So I say, go for it, go for it, go for it, and send that email off to David. Make sure that conversation hasn't already been started. But if you can think of anybody else, Eric, you're headed down the right path, thinking big, because as this opens up, these big companies are going to hear of us. And if you're the one that's out there talking about David Allen Capital and talking about being able to partner with Bank Breezy, how they could bring funding on, he mentioned today that if a company has at least 100 independent sales agents out there, they're probably a good fit for being a funding partner with Bank Breezy on that master agent type co-branded platform. They'll get paid the majority of the money, but you'll earn overrides on that for the life of that account. So go for it. Lots more good things to come in that bigger business space as we launch other new services in the very near future.
No, I definitely, I remember that Zoom I was on, I think it was either last week when David was actually speaking about ACN. And that's the reason why I came on and I asked you about if I should actually do that or not, because I do remember that. But I will shoot David an email and let him know to see if he actually had spoken with them or not. And that's another reason why I actually was introduced to ACN years ago, because my buddy has been in ACN for about 20 years. And we just got out of school together. We were in our early 20s. And he used to get on my nerves. Like, he would just bug me about getting into ACN. And he was just like a gnat that just wouldn't go away. But, it's he's a fruit of his labor now, because now he's a big wig there. But I knew he was, and I was going to actually get in, but he told me about that fee. And at the time, I just, got out of school. I was broke. So there was no way I could I was like, no, I can't do that fee, man. And he was like, come on, man. I was like, no, I can't do it. And then now, 20 years later, he's like one of the top producers in ACN. So.
Yeah, well, and that story is a true testament to the seeing it through and sticking and staying, which I always preach, right? Mm-hmm. Just because they pay a fee doesn't mean that there's more money opportunity there than we have with DAC. See, what happens when companies charge a fee, and you've heard David explain this many times, but for anybody that's new on and may not have heard David talk about it, when a company charges a startup fee, the majority of time, that startup fee is the fast start bonus that gets paid to the enroller and to the upline. So that's how they make those quick upfront big commissions going, right? But for companies that are fee-based like that, for an ongoing income to continue for someone who's building a big organization, they have to keep recruiting new people and have to have a constant influx of people that are coming in and paying that $500 for those big bonuses to pay out in order for the residual to build, right? So there's a lot of ebbs and flows in a business that requires that startup fee until you've gotten your organization to a certain size, and then it becomes on autopilot. But we're going to see that and then some with DAC, because our free model takes down that barrier to entry, as you just explained, Eric, and it allows people to get started with us no matter what their financial situation is. And it allows people to stay with us, because I have people reach back out, that have been with DAC for 4 years and they really haven't done a lot or haven't been engaged a lot, but they've been still receiving my emails. They know that I'm still here. And because I'm here almost 5 years later, they're going, something must be going on with DAC, because Ellen Wynn's still there, right? I'm that steady force driving here for my team. And I have people reach back out all the time going, hey, I haven't been plugged in, but I hear things are happening. I really want to know where I need to start to get plugged in and get caught up on what I've missed, right? So our free model allows people to do that. Some of these other companies, if you got started and paid that fee and then you kept your auto ship active for a few months and then fell off of that, if you didn't pay an annual renewal, which most companies charge a renewal too, then you're just kicked out of the database, right? So DAC doesn't do that. I know we're going to have some different qualification things with the new compensation plan. David's really wanting to reward people that are working and supporting their teams. And he's mentioned it before too. You know, if you just want to be an affiliate marketer and all you want to do is hope that people will sign up with your marketing efforts over time and not really get in and build, then, you know, you're not going to make as much money as people that are out here working with their team. Like Joshua said, he's reaching down and, you know, encouraging people to get into the training and making himself available to help the team. Those folks that are doing that are going to be the ones that are like your friend, that are really somebody in the company that has made a fortune for themselves. But along the way, the beauty of that and the beauty of the DAC compensation plan, which I love, is none of us are going to make those top incomes without having a lot of people come along with us, because it's impossible for me to make a fortune in DAC unless I have a lot of people in my team who are also making a fortune, because I get paid off of your success, right? I get paid a little portion off of everybody's success in my team. And if you're not having success, then I'm not having success. The only way that I can make a lot of money without y'all being successful is if I'm just going out and getting my own clients. And that's all I do every single day. So I love our compensation model, and we're built for the long term for sure.
I do too. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I'll definitely take your advice with reaching out to David.
You bet. And he'll be glad to hear from you. Again, that thinking big, right?
All right. Thanks, Ellen.
You bet. I don't have any other hands up. Harlequin, before we wrap up, you got any questions, comments, or anything from the chat that we need to address?
Somebody was just asking if tomorrow night's Zoom is going to be available on YouTube. And yes, the recording will be there. And if you're able to watch live on any of the corporate Zooms, I would watch it on Zoom, so you can actually ask questions if you have any, rather than going and watching it on YouTube.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, good points. All right, well, guys, big night tomorrow night. I would say go make that memory jogger, and you know, if you get it started, and get that process started, more people will come to mind. And anytime I have people come to mind with the opportunity, whether it's customer based or agent based, I'm always adding their names to my list. So build that list, go through the memory jogger, and let's see what comes out tomorrow, because it's going to be an exciting night. Invite your guests for the 8 p.m. business opportunity, and let's go forth and multiply. Have a great evening, everybody.
Yeah,
Take care.
And call Ellen, I would also add, call all of your agents and make sure that they're on both of those Zooms.
Yeah, make sure they're aware. Thank you, Harlequin, because I do this naturally. Every time when I first grew up in the network marketing space, and I learned from some really high income earners that were my enrollers, my sponsors, I watched them be good communicators, and I just emulated what they were doing, right? They would send out a message to the whole team, and I'd got that message, and I didn't go, oh, well, they've communicated to everybody. I'm going, okay, this is important stuff. Let me make sure everybody in my team knows this message just came out. So whether I was duplicating what they sent, or most of the time I was picking up the phone, because I had a smaller team, right? I'd pick up the phone and say, hey, just want to make sure you saw the email about the meeting tomorrow or the meeting on Saturday. Are you planning on coming? And I got commitments from people. So absolutely. Great point, Harlequin. Thank you for mentioning that. Good stuff. Okay. Everybody good? All right. We'll see you tomorrow night on our Zoom at 8 p.m. daczoom.com. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.